Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to everyone. Today our group will present about conceptualization, operationalization and measurement. My name is Radhuan and my colleague is Hasrul. So the structure of the slides today, we're going to explain about conceptualization and operationalization. So we will elaborate about the definition, concept and conceptualization, indicators and dimensions, and my colleague will explain about operationalization later. Okay, for the introduction, what is research? Research is the basic tools used in all fields of sciences to answer questions and to expand the frontier of knowledge. So through research, the researchers usually will try to explain and to explain and to predict the problem and or certain situations. Next, we will go to jump into conceptualization. Okay. We're going to define what is concept first. Concepts are construct. It's derived from the mutual agreements assigned to terms. Terms here means the nominal definitions. It represents the ideas, what you want to study in your research. And concepts cannot be observed directly or indirectly. They don't exist. We make the concept terms. So concepts are construct. That means it's creation of an observation. And then the term concept is the final result of the conceptualization process. Conceptualization. The definition of it is the process of specifying observations and measurement that give concepts definite meaning for the purposes of a research study. So conceptualization is is a process to define a concept. So second process of specifying what we mean when we use particular terms in research. Okay. The definition of conceptualization. Conceptualization is the process of specifying observations and measurement that give concepts a definite meaning for the purposes of the research study. So that means the conceptualization process is where researchers create a nominal definitions of the concept in order to identify the focus of the study. Second is the process of specifying what we mean when we use a particular terms in research, which is the concept. And third, it also includes in the conceptualization process that specify the indicators and its dimensions. What is indicators and dimensions? Indicator is a sign of a presence or absence of the concept we are studying. That means indicator is to further define the concept. Dimensions. Dimensions is a specific aspect of a concept. So a complete conceptualization process involves both specifying dimensions and identifying various indicators for each dimension. For example, the achievement motivation. Achievement motivation is the concept of the study. So, the driven by work is called dimensions of achievement motivation, followed by the other dimension, unable to relax and seeks moderate challenge. So these three are called dimensions of achievement motivation. Again, conceptualization process is about specifying precisely what we mean when we use a particular terms. So under dimension and indicators, they are the aspect of the concept to to specify what is the concept of the study is. So second occurs through dialogue among researchers. As we know, conceptualization process is the attempt of the researcher to arrive at a common agreement on the meaning of concept, and in order to identify the focus of the study of the concept, and then finally they will result in so this whole conceptualization process will result in a concept. So the purpose of conceptualization is to provide a working definition for a research. So the process of specifying exact meaning, which I have explained, which involve the indicators that we'll be using to measure our concept, and the different aspect of concepts just now, which is called dimensions. So the diagram here, the example of achievement motivation. So the upper one here is the dimension, which is driven by work, unable to relax, impatient, with effectiveness, and so on. And under the dimension is the indicators. So one concept, they can have a multiple of dimensions, and one dimension can have a multiple of indicators. In summary, by establishing the connection between concept and data, a very important and very difficult step in the research process. So conceptualization and operationalization is one of the process that the researcher use to establish these linkages. So as we understand, overall conceptualization, dimension, and indicators, they are all related to create a concept of studies. So for the next slide, I will pass to my colleague Hasrul to present about operationalization.
Okay, thank you, Radhuan. So it is my turn now. I'm Hasrul. So my part is about operationalization. Okay, so it is about the continuous for conceptualization, which is Radhuan presented earlier. So it's my part, operationalization. So conceptualization about concept. We define the construct, we define the dimension. So operation is about we operate the dimension, we measure that. So we get the data, or we collect the data, we know how many girls, how many boys, something like that. So let's go further. Okay, operationalization is an extension of conceptualization that specify the exact procedures that will be used to measure the attributes of variable. So the point is, you remember the word measure. It's about a measurement. Okay. So the development of specific research procedures, operation that will result in empirical observation representing those concepts in the real world. So we would know from this operationalization, we would know how many for example, how many employees agree or disagree with your statement. For example, when you do your questionnaire or your survey form, you would get the data. This is operationalization. Okay, it also a specific, concrete method to measure or manipulate a construct. So the construct we can get be more specific with conceptualization, and more specific, and we measure it with operationalization. It also done by looking at the behavioral dimension, facet or properties denoted by the concept. It also to determine how the variable to be measured, how we measure the variable. Also to measure abstract and subjective concepts such as feeling and attitudes. So we would know from this operationalization, we would know how to measure the abstract and subjective concept. We will get the the scale, the data from that. Okay, next. Next is a dimension or an element. Okay, an example of a construct with more than one dimension is aggression. Aggression has at least two dimensions. Verbal aggression, which is when we shouting or we talk, we use verbal. Then and physical aggression that Dr. Kuku has given example from last class, which is when we pinch our friends, he feel the pain. So something like that. Okay. So next is a valid measurement. Scale include quantitatively measurable questions or items or elements that adequately represent the domain or universe of the construct. So something like this. Okay. See this construct, this dimension, there is the dimension that we will measure. Okay. So next is an operationalization does not describe the correlates of the concept. Does not describe the relationship between the concept. But it's necessary to measure abstract and subjective concepts such as feelings and attitude. So you repeat, it's about how we measure abstract and how we measure the variables. Okay. Operationalizations involve a series of steps that we took from Sekarang book. First, you must come up with a definition of the construct that you want to measure. Okay. Second, think about the content of the measure that is an instrument. Okay. Number 3, a response format, which is the survey form that you use. So you will get the data when you do the survey, something like that. Like that. So next, it also involves a series of interrelated choices we took from baby book, which is first specifying the range of variation. Second is determining how precisely to measure a variable. 3, accounting for relevant dimension of variables. 4, clearly defining the attributes of variable. And number 5, deciding on an appropriate level of measurement. So this is how the series of interrelated choices for operationalization. Okay. So the summary is, for this part, operationalization is about the extension for the conceptualization, which is that Radhuan said earlier, which is linkage between these two. So for this operationalization is explain how variables are measured. Second is explain when operationalization of variable is necessary. Third is operationally define or operationalize abstract and subject variables, which is we will go for the measurement for next week. So this is 2, you must remember these 2, conceptualization and operationalization. These 2 are very important for you to do for your research and to get the information. So you do the concept first and you do the operation. You operate the dimension and the variables. Okay, that's all from us. Thank you. So that's it from us. So you guys have any question for our part?